What's up, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today we're going to ask the question, is raiding a real-life skill, raid leading, guild leading, whatever you want to say. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is I read an article about this the other day, and I see this come up pretty regularly, and people are always talking about, people who play Warcraft are saying that, well, because I play Warcraft, I think this is a real-life skill, and this, that, and the other thing, and people say, oh, well, this CEO plays the game, or this other very successful person plays the game, as if this is somehow some sort of validation for all people that play the game. Now, my short answer to this is probably not, and I'm going to kind of tell you guys why I think that. If I was an employer and I knew how half of like the people that I've raided with and the people that I raid with now actually act when things don't go their way, there would be no fucking way I would want that person in my guild, or not in my guild, working for me. There's no way at all. People are they're selfish. They cannot compromise. They lie. They start drama. Everything. There's all kinds of crazy shit that people do, and absolutely something that you would not want to just put this on a resume. And if you put this on a resume and somebody actually really knew how you acted in this game, there would be no way they'd hire you. And I mean, this goes for like officers and like guild leaders and like guild masters. And like that's what people really like to talk about, is that, oh, well, if you're a raid leader, if you're a guild master, this is a real life skill. You learn interpersonal skills. And it's like, yes, that is a possibility. That is a very good possibility. Or you could be the raid leader that calls everybody a stupid, retarded faggot every single time they die and screams at them for the rest of the night and kicks them out of the guild. Okay? And that's honestly what I've encountered more than somebody who's able to be understanding. And it's the same with the guild leaders, too. I mean, the guild leaders I've had to deal with. I've got some examples for you guys of just like people in my guild that I've dealt with over the course of a few years, and these are all just officers. And this is probably the majority. Like, I wrote these things out, and I think I have a majority of the officers that we've had in our guild have been extremely ineffective and have, in one way or another, fucked up the guild. And if somebody who was an employer looked at this and said, wow, you play World of Warcraft, and they really knew how they played World of Warcraft, they would not want them in their company. Okay, it is guaranteed. So anyway, the first one I have is there's this guy. He was our guild master, and our old guild master gave him GM, and basically we had a chance to kind of advance the guild or not advance the guild. And so he makes a post about this on our guild website, and he asks everybody to take a vote. And because I was an officer at the time, I was able to view who voted which way, right? And so I could see who voted for, who voted against, who voted indifferent. And so anyway, he wrote on the post that he was indifferent to it. And on the voting thing, he voted no. And so he just straight up lied to everybody, like right out there. And it was really great because I could all fit it all into one page, and so I could screenshot it so everybody can see, how much of a lying piece of shit he was. And this was our guild leader, okay? And I'm not even talking about like whenever we would raid and he would scream at everybody because he did something wrong. Okay, I'm not even talking about that. Now the second example, this is another guild leader. Basically, this other person joins the guild, and our guild leader at the time did not like this other person. And so because this guild leader felt that this other person's presence was so upsetting for them, is that they actually left the guild overnight with a couple of their friends because they didn't like one other person, and they didn't want to compromise and have to raid with somebody that they didn't like because they didn't think that was fair to them. And this is after insulting this person personally on a personal level, like calling them like a piece of shit, like a slut, telling them like kill themselves, this, that, and the other thing. And so it was definitely not somebody that you want in your company, okay? Next example. This is during the beginning of Mists of Pandaria. And basically, I stopped being an officer for a period of time, and they promoted up some other people to be officers. And one of the people they promoted up, basically he was a very good player. He always did his job. You know, definitely somebody that you'd want in your raid. And so they promoted him up to a leadership position, and he didn't know how to interact with people. He didn't know how to basically make people like kind of do what he wanted them to do. He couldn't really do anything. He couldn't make any real change. He could make like this like half-hearted change. He could like threaten to people, be like, "Oh, you know, if you make 3 mistakes, you're out of the raid." And then somebody who we can't get rid of makes 3 mistakes, and then he looks like a fucking jackass. And I mean, like this would happen like every fucking night. And I mean, then the best part here is that he then leaves the guild, and blames it on everybody else because he wasn't able to make any changes as the officer. Like it's his job to make change, and he blames it on everybody else because he can't do anything because he just doesn't put enough effort in. And we had another guy who actually did exactly the same thing. He was actually the one that invented this, what I was saying, like this 3-strike thing, and then people would make the 3 strikes. We couldn't get rid of him. The guy looked like a jackass. And also, like my personal favorite here is that my last 2 examples is that this one guy, we promoted him up to be a healing officer, and his idea of being a healing officer was to have an officer rank next to his name, and that was about it. Like he'd never tell anyone what to do. No one would ever know what to do. This, that, and the other thing. Like he just didn't do anything, and so he was actually functionally not an officer. And it was extremely annoying, and it held us back for like 6 months because he refused to give people assignments. He thought it was stupid, and so basically he didn't do anything, and everybody suffered because of it. And my last example is actually something that's probably pretty common if you guys have raided for a long time. And this is a guy that whenever I first joined the guild, in raid warning, after every time we'd wipe on Heroic Nefarian, he'd call everybody a stupid retarded faggot and to kill ourselves or whatever else in like raid warning, so it would appear on your screen in big letters, you know, kill yourself, you're terrible, this is so easy. And there was never actually any real constructive criticism here. There was never, hey, maybe you shouldn't stand in a raid with burning cinders, you know, so you don't blow up the fucking raid. They'd never say anything like that, or, hey, maybe we should change this, maybe we should change that. Never anything about that. Just straight focus on us being retarded faggots and we should kill ourselves. And so these are, and these are the officers. This is what people talk about. Oh, you know, you should, this is a resume item. I don't fucking think so. At least not with these people. Now, a lot of people that are not in, like, the gaming culture, they don't really understand gaming in general. And so they don't really get that there's some real potential. We have some really great officers in our guild now, and they just do a great job dealing with people, and really put in 110%, and it's fucking great, and it shows for the guild. And I mean, those people, I think this is absolutely this is definitely a real skill that they have, you know, if nothing else, just working hard, and it's great. But even though that's the case, I would never put that on my resume. And basically, it's because a lot of people who are not really in this gaming culture view World of Warcraft through the eyes. The only time that they've ever seen World of Warcraft is the South Park episode, okay? And so they think everybody that plays World of Warcraft is this fat retard that shits in a cup, you know? And or the other thing is that they have some sort of a relative or like a friend who, well, this guy started playing World of Warcraft, and the next thing you know, he didn't have a job, he lost his girlfriend, he lost his house, and so all these other negative things happened to him. Maybe because of Warcraft, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's different for everybody, but either way, so they attach. If you ever talk to somebody, they attach all these negative stereotypes to you. If you say that you play the game or play Warcraft or play any other like MMO especially, and also like shooter games, because people have like this idea that everybody that plays a shooter game like just screams into the mic, you know, for I don't know, like for as long as they play the game. on Xbox Live or whatever. And yeah, most people don't really do that, but a lot of people don't really understand that because they just simply attach all these negative stereotypes that they have from like one or two people that they've either seen on the news. Like, I mean, you guys have seen probably like the, oh, my Warcraft addiction, and it's some guy who plays Warcraft 18 hours a day or something like that. And so obviously he's an extreme for anything. But a lot of these people might not really understand that because that's their only exposure to this sort of like culture or this activity. And so it's the same thing. I liken this a lot to like smoking pot, where people they have, like, as I said again, a friend or relative that smokes pot, that is a deadbeat, that doesn't have a job, that collects like welfare, that steals hubcaps, that sells pirated DVDs, just all the real straight upstanding citizen stuff. And so then, of course, if they ever see anybody else that smokes pot, they immediately attach the fact that they smoke pot that as this is the cause for this other antisocial behavior. And so it's to me, it's very similar to that. The way that people view Warcraft is that they have somebody that they know. It's like I had a buddy who his parents, they had his dad has like a company or something like that, and one of his employees was like this really great employee, and apparently like he started playing Warcraft, and this guy stopped coming to work. Like he just turned into just like the worst employee you could possibly have. And so it's really kind of it can be very polarizing for people. I've went to a couple of like kind of like meet and greets for like a marketing firm and something like that, and a guy mentioned to me that he played Warcraft, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. But I still didn't really say, well, hey, did you know that I was actually ranked 2 in the entire country for achievement points? Because even then, like, people might not really understand that you can also have, like, I guess, like a successful life. Like, I had a job while I was doing that at the same time. Like, I don't even have a job now. But either way, I mean, I had a job. Like, I was semi-productive at that point. I was also going to school. And so it's not necessarily that simple, but to somebody that doesn't understand, it is that simple. And that's why I would tell you guys, I would not really put that stuff on there, because it's polarizing. It can upset people. They can say that, like, oh, my kid plays that and he gets D's and F's in all of his classes, and somehow they assume that because he plays that and he does poorly, that you play that and you'll come into this job and also do poorly. It's not necessarily that bad of a like logical bias. Like, it's a stereotype. Like, stereotypes are a lot of times based on reality, and so I can't really fault them for it. But at the same time, it does kind of suck. It's the same thing as I said. And guys, please do not tell me that Michael Dell plays World of Warcraft. I play World of Warcraft too, but I'm not some brilliant billionaire entrepreneur. And it's the same thing people say, oh, Michael Phelps smoked pot. Well, so did Charles Manson. This is not. This is it's broken logic in just in a different direction. I don't really understand why people say that, but I can understand in a way that there are some examples of being very successful, and there are also quite a lot of examples of being very unsuccessful. And so, in my opinion, I would say, keep it to yourself. If you find somebody that really understands and appreciates what you do, in the game, that's amazing. But I would say don't really count on it, because there are a lot of people who view World of Warcraft or gaming in general as to be negative. Outside of the I don't know, like 18 to 35, range of guys. Outside of that, there's a lot of people who are not necessarily as gung ho for gaming, and that's honestly pretty much all I've got. I saw this article. I wanted to make this video. Hopefully, this helped you guys, gave y'all some insight. Let me know what you think. If you've used this on an application and it's gotten you a job, let me know. That would be pretty cool. And if you have, on the other direction, if you've mentioned it in an interview or something like that, and they just give you, okay, yeah, you play WoW, right? Okay, and they pretty much did not. You didn't get a call back. Let me know that too. I'd be interested in knowing what people's real experiences are. But other than that, said that's pretty much all I've got. So thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.